Privacy is a gift given to all, except celebrities who had these shocking moments of their lives exposed by the media. Jack Nicholson. When a Time magazine researcher called Jack Nicholson to fact-check a profile in 1974, he learned two things. One, his older sister June was actually his birth mother, and his bio dad was actually still alive. After asking the magazine to leave those details out of the story, he called his aunt and uncle, who finally told him the truth. He'd been raised by his grandmother, Ethel May, because when he was born, June was only 18 years old and his biological father was actually married to another woman. June had dreams of being a star, and so to avoid the shame of having a child out of wedlock, her mom, Ethel, just raised Jack as her own, and Jack grew up not knowing his dad at all. Now, June moved out when Jack was only 4 years old and went to Miami to become a showgirl. And what's wild is that he actually headed to Los Angeles when he was 17 to join his sister, well, mother, in showbiz. So when Time magazine did this article on him in 74, they hit him with two blows. You know, his dad was still alive and his mom was a sister, which of course was the bigger blow. He apparently called up his brother-in-law and said he just heard the most messed up thing ever and explained what he was told. Shorty, who was the name of his brother-in-law, first denied it, but then reluctantly confirmed all of this was true. Jack went into a tailspin, and at the time of all this coming out, Ethel and June had both actually passed away, so he wasn't even able to confront them. He said, you know, he was actually kind of impressed by their ability to keep it a secret this whole time. This story is crazy, but I guess you can say that acting runs in the family, because grandma and sister slash mom kept that tight-lipped for years, and so did the rest of the family, so Oscars for all, bravo. Next up, Naya Rivera. In her memoir, Sorry Not Sorry, Naya Rivera said that she learned that she was no longer getting married from the internet. And at the time, you know, as the rest of the world was finding that out, when her and her fiance Big Sean's publicist actually released a breakup statement, she wrote, "Not only were we no longer getting married, but apparently we weren't even together anymore." Naya and Big Sean were actually engaged from October 2013 to April 2014. In her memoir, she also wrote about finding Ariana Grande at Big Sean's house, implying that they were dating while Rivera and Big Sean were still engaged. She wrote in her book saying, "We'd been fighting for 5 straight days while he was traveling, and then on the one day that he was back in LA, he said he didn't want to see me. Well, a-hole, I've got a key to your house." So when she got to the rapper's house, she wasn't impressed with what she saw. She wrote, "I walk in, go downstairs, and guess what little girl's sitting cross-legged on the couch listening to music? It rhymes with Smariana Schmonde." Now, after the engagement ended, Big Sean and Ariana Grande actually did begin dating, and they were together for nearly a year. Rivera married Ryan Dorsey 3 months after the engagement with Big Sean was called off, and on the same save the date originally intended for her and Big Sean, they actually got married. Rest in peace, Naya. Minnie Driver. In 1998, Minnie Driver learned she was no longer in a relationship with her Good Will Hunting co-star Matt Damon when he said he was single on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Now, Damon appeared alongside Ben Affleck and Robin Williams when he casually let it slip that he was now single. Unfortunately, he hadn't actually informed Driver before making this announcement. For Minnie, seeing the tabloid coverage, of her breakup was extremely difficult. She later told Entertainment Tonight, "I don't care who you are, that is agony, and it's like a strange, surreal dream. It's funny now when I think about walking down the magazine aisle in my local supermarket at midnight with my best friend. We were like, are you seeing this? This is super weird." My friend Alexandra was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that this is happening. I feel like we're in a movie. I would totally watch this movie even though I know you're super heartbroken, but this is really weird." Now, after his split from Driver, Damon married Luciana Barroso in December of 2005. The couple actually share 4 daughters. Driver, for her part, actually welcomed a son, Henry, in September of 2008 and is currently actually engaged to Addison O'Day. Demi Moore. In 2011, Demi Moore found out that she and her then husband, Ashton Kutcher, had cheated on her through a Google alert on her cell phone. The notification alerted her to an interview that Sarah Leal, who Ashton had an affair with, had done this interview with Us Weekly. Now, Demi immediately called Ashton to confront him, and he admitted it was true immediately. She said at that moment she could barely breathe and was just in disbelief. She would then go on to divorce divorce him, of course, and he would then go on to marry his That 70s Show co-star, Mila Kunis, whom they actually share a couple kids together. Now, super messy, super chaotic, because why did Sarah Leal do an interview with Us Weekly? I'll never understand that part. Kim Kardashian discovered that her sister Khloe's then boyfriend Tristan Thompson had cheated and fathered a child with someone else when she read this statement regarding the situation online. She told Khloe right away, of course, and the entire thing was actually captured on camera for their show, The Kardashians. Now, on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast, Khloe said that learning of Tristan's paternity scandal with the rest of the world was the most offensive part. What makes it worse too is that Khloe had just rekindled her relationship with Tristan at that time. Now, all the Dash sisters and momager Kris Jenner was extremely disgusted, rightfully so, and Kylie said the whole situation is insane and a never-ending swirl with never-ending betrayal, which, like, yeah, spot on. This man has put her through it. When is enough enough? Britney Spears learned that her then 16-year-old sister, Jamie Lynn, was having a baby when she announced her pregnancy on the cover of OK magazine back in 2007. In her memoir, Things I Should Have Said, Jamie Lynn wrote, "My team believed everyone outside of the inner circle was a potential threat. They went so far as hiding my pregnancy from my sister, claiming it's too risky to tell Britney about the baby. I needed Britney more than ever, and she wasn't able to help me in my most vulnerable time." In Britney's memoir, The Woman in Me, she writes that her family just simply kept it from her. Jamie says she's still haunted by the hurt she felt of not being able to tell Britney at the time, and says that simultaneously Britney was experiencing her own breakdown and the media and the paparazzi was swarming her, so it was likely the best call to avoid more negative media attention. Liam Hemsworth. In 2019, Liam Hemsworth reportedly found out that his then wife, Miley Cyrus, was leaving him through social media after her team released a statement about their split. The statement said, "Liam and Miley have agreed to separate at this time. Ever evolving, changing as partners and individuals, they've decided this is what's best while they both focus on themselves and their careers. They still remain dedicated parents to all of their animals they share while lovingly taking this time apart. Please respect their process and privacy." But a few days later, Liam responded with his own statement on Instagram, writing, "Just a quick note to say that Miley and I have recently separated, and I wish her nothing but health and happiness going forward. This is a private matter, and I have not made nor will I be making any comments to any journalists or media outlets. Any reported quotes attributed to me are false." According to sources close to them, they said that the split wasn't shocking to people who were with them constantly, but it was to Liam. Kris Humphries. In 2011, Kris Humphries reportedly didn't know that Kim Kardashian was filing for divorce until the day the story broke. In a statement to E! News, he said, "I love my wife, and I am devastated to learn that she filed for divorce. I'm committed to this marriage and everything this covenant represents. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make it work." Kris Humphries' family stated that he was completely surprised to learn about Kim Kardashian's divorce filing, as the news was already published before he even found out. The news of Kardashian filing for divorce just after 72 days of marriage, which took place in October 2011, was publicized before Humphries was even informed at all. Now, in recent news, Kim Kardashian claims that she paid for the majority of her $2 million engagement ring from Kris Humphries, and he still made her return it during their divorce. Weird. In a recent episode of The Kardashians, she said, "I didn't keep that ring. I was pregnant with North, still married to him, and in order to divorce him, he said I had to give him the ring in my divorce that I bought." He contributed a fifth. Humphries ultimately auctioned off the ring for, I think, $750,000, with plans to donate, the proceeds to charity, but who knows if that happened. Ed Oneil didn't know that Married with Children, which he starred in, had been canceled until a newlywed couple he met at a bed and breakfast in his hometown told him that they heard the news all over the radio. He told the couple he'd rather hear it from them. Now, on the Ellen DeGeneres show, he said, "I took them in, got them a bottle of champagne. That's how that went down. When the network called me, it was like 6 weeks later. Someone dropped the ball on this." He said, "I said, I have a question for you guys. 11 years we kept you in the black. No gifts for the cast?" Ed went on to later, of course, do Modern Family, and that kept him booked and busy, so there was no loss there. Tom Holland. After radio silence from Marvel following his screen test as Spider-Man, Tom Holland assumed that he just didn't get the role. However, after seeing that Marvel had posted a picture of cartoon Spider-Man on Instagram, he got on his laptop and Googled Marvel. Then he read the announcement. "We would like to introduce our new Spider-Man, Tom Holland." He said he broke his computer because he flipped it up in the air and it fell off his bed and his dog went nuts. He said he then ran downstairs telling his family, I got the part. And obviously that was right about around the time when Sony had actually got hacked. So his brother Harry, who's quite tech savvy, was like, no, there's no way that's real. They would have called you. They've been hacked, clearly. But then the studio did call him and actually gave him the news. Which celebrity do you predict will have some private news leak this year? Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Ashley. It's been great catching up.